Okay, I actually had a special request to do a video on this. I shared this on my community tab, so you guys can go there and you can check it out. But we're going to cover it here in the video a little bit, because it is pretty interesting. Now, this article went up January 28th, 2020. So it's only a couple of weeks old. Miracle worker Rabbi predicts Trump's peace deal won't succeed because Messiah will come first. Now, we know there's been a lot of talk about this among these rabbis. Absolutely, God's using these guys to do prophetic events. Rabbi Kaduri actually ended up seeing Jesus, and he gave a lot of prophecies. So it's important to listen to what these guys say and glean out the information that is pertinent, because they're saying some things that actually match what the Bible is saying. So, you know, we test everything, but yeah, there's a lot here. His name is Baba Blessed. Baba Baruch. Baruch Hashem Adonai Eloheinu. So, after that, I will pour out my spirit on all flesh. Your sons and your daughters shall prophesy. Your old men shall dream dreams, and your young men shall see visions. No, I was not speaking in tongues. That was Hebrew. Baruch Hashem Adonai Eloheinu. Blessed is he who comes in the name of the Lord. While Israel Prime Minister Benjamin Netanyahu discusses President Trump's plan for the Middle East, political pundits weigh in on what the deal of the century actually entails. Two Israeli mystics have spoken, both predicting that the political program endorsed by the most powerful country in the world will never be actualized. It's actually been signed, but it's static at the moment, because we have the elections coming up in March. They're still trying to get the Palestinians to come and say, hey, where do you want to draw your lines? They're putting together the, what's the term? They're putting together the logistics of everything. And they're setting up their annexation. Now, they were getting ready to do that annexation, Netanyahu was, and a whole bunch of rockets came flying over. So what they're trying to do is they're trying to do this in a peaceful way. But currently it's static. And then we have elections coming. And there's a lot of stuff going on about these elections. I may actually dip into Times of Israel and may look at a couple other headlines while we're doing this one. So, Baba Baruch, Messiah, will arrive first. So let's go into what this guy says. Rabbi Baruch Abu Hatzira, a prominent Sephardi Israeli mystic, basically his magi, made a remarkable prediction on Monday. The deal of the century will not be enacted because the Messiah will come first. Guys, they know who he is already. They know. And they've talked to him. Now, he may not realize who he is, and they may not have actually verbally said it in front of him, but they know who he is. Rabbi Abu Hatzira, known as Baba Baruch, is an Israeli mystic and spiritual advisor who operates in Netivot, a blue-collar town in southern Israel. In an exclusive and rare interview with Kikar Shabbat, a Hebrew-language news service for the Haredi, ultra-Orthodox public. Those are the guys you got to watch out for, the ultra-Orthodox. Baba Baruch discussed his father, whose Yartzeit anniversary of his death is on the 4th day of the Hebrew month of Shabbat, which falls this year on Thursday evening. Baba Baruch is the son of Rabbi Israel Abu Hatzira, known as the Baba Sali, who was the leading Moroccan rabbi until he passed away in 1984. We've heard mention of him before, a little over a month ago. Baba Sali was the scion of a distinguished family of Sephardic Torah scholars and Tzaddikim, righteous men, who were also known as Baalei Mofet. I see that Baal pop up in a lot of stuff involving the ultra-Orthodox. Now, it may have a different meaning in Hebrew, but I see that pop up a lot in relation to these guys. Sometimes even with the little dash in between there. That synagogue of Satan. Miracle workers, not all of them, but a lot of them. The Baba Sali was renowned for his alleged ability to work miracles through his prayers. In the interview, the rabbi discussed current events as well. You are about to see some things that are wonderful. Listen to what he says and think about what holiday for them is about to happen. You are about to see some things that are wonderful. And Rabbi elaborated. Just in this matter of America, the President of the United States is Trump. Who could have dreamed it would be? The spiritual and the prophetic significance of Trump being president is not lost on them. In fact, they're one of the first ones to speak out about it. Was it supernatural, above the laws of nature? The Baba Baruch was asked. Maybe, the Baba Baruch answered. These are all signs of our righteous Messiah. That is why you should rejoice. We will be happy. What is Purim? Happy and rejoicing beyond measure. The Rabbi added, look at the condition of the Arabs. A great terror has fallen on them when they heard that Trump has a plan for peace. But there will be nothing. Why? Because the Messiah will come and he will cancel everything. There will be no plan. I disagree. Oh, not about the Messiah. He's not going to cancel that plan. He's going to make it stronger and confirm it. Made some changes to it. How interesting that he talks, basically hints at Purim. See those little hints they put in there like that, the way they word that stuff? They're speaking to other people that are watching. They don't realize that some of us can see it too. Rejoice and be happy. Purim. What is Purim? A lesser Jewish festival held in spring to commemorate the defeat of Haman's plot to massacre the Jews as recorded in the book of Esther. Where's the... Here it is. They actually dress up like zombies on Purim. The Jewish festival of Purim is an explosion of fun, food, and fancy dress, united the community every year around the start of March. But what is the meaning behind the celebrations and when does it happen? This is 2018. So it's about a time of fun, time of happiness, time of rejoicing, just like he said. So hints everywhere. Okay. Let's go into Times of Israel. Take a look. Since we're in headlines, let's take a look at a few other headlines. Let's see what's going on. I've seen a lot of stuff. PM, get out of there. PM says he's lifted freeze to build Givat Hamatos neighborhood in East Jerusalem. 11 days before the election, Netanyahu announces approval for 3,000 homes for Jews in a project that would cut off Palestinian areas in capital from West Bank. Uh-oh. So there's a lot of stuff with the peace deal going on right now. Netanyahu's got himself in a weird spot. East Jerusalem destruction. So yeah, that's going to be an issue there, evidently. Because you know what he's trying to do is he's trying to force annexation. He wants to annex before the elections, and he may get his thing. But the thing is, if he does it before the elections, there may end up being an attack too. So I'm saying, guys, that mid-burn, there may be an attack because of that, especially because of where they're doing it. Quarantined. Right here. Let's see what this says. Israel's third election needs a game changer. I wonder what that would be. Maybe Messiah? On March 2nd, Israelis will head back to the polls for a third time in 12 months. Go away. This previously unimaginable situation has left many asking what, if anything, will be different this time around. Indeed, will the newly politicized Trump peace plan prove to be a boon for Benjamin Netanyahu and help his Likud party succeed in forming a government after having failed to do so following the past two elections? Not only was it him that failed to do it, it was also Gantz failed to do it, and then when all the other guys were given an opportunity, they all failed too in the second round. That's God. He has his hand in this. Will Netanyahu's official indictment presented to the Jerusalem District Court on the same day on which Trump's peace plan was published convince voters that it is time to move on and put their trust in Benny Gantz and his blue and white party? Well, he couldn't do it either. In the end, the answer might depend on who shows up at the polling place. Who indeed? I ain't referring to voters. As we enter this last phase of the election, from now until Election Day, most people are focused on is who sets the agenda. Gantz and his blue and white party want the electorate to focus on Netanyahu's legal troubles. I already told you guys that's what they're trying to do. Just like Trump, they're trying to use legal issues to get him knocked out. And on the prospect of a sitting prime minister attending his trial in Jerusalem's district court in the morning, then heading to his office to convene the cabinet in the evening. They know that Israelis, almost completely across the political spectrum, are uneasy about the prospect of business as usual as Netanyahu's legal predicament worsens. But you know what? The vote will tell the tale, or a surprise entry in the vote. For the Likud, the plan is to focus on their strengths. The relative security and stability Israelis have enjoyed during the last 10 years that Netanyahu has served in office, and his perceived ability steer the ship of state through turbulent regional and international waters. This is why Trump's peace plan and the possibility of annexation, or extending Israeli sovereignty, over parts of the West Bank is back in the headlines. While the so-called deal of the century may threaten to upset the more extreme elements of the right-wing base, since it implies some possible Israeli concessions, the very fact that the Israeli voter could focus on Netanyahu, the statesman, as opposed to Netanyahu, the defendant, is a net gain for the Likud. The real focus of the campaigns, however, is on voter turnout, or more specifically, turning out their own voters. So if that's what they're focused on, and it goes into all kinds of weird little details and stuff like that about it. I'm looking for anything that's okay. So, yeah. I'm interested to see who steps up. Now, looking at that, we know that in this situation, we have to be gone. We can't be here when the Messiah shows up. So let's say, for instance, for example, for argument's sake, he's going to show up on the elections. Well, that means in 10 days, in the next 10 days, we have to be out of here. Now, I'm not saying that's going to happen, but we can't be here when he's here. The very first seal, Revelation 6:1. Now I saw when the Lamb opened one of the seals, and I heard one of the four living creatures saying, with a voice like thunder, "Come and see." And I looked, and behold, a white horse. He who sat on it had a bow, and a crown was given to him, and he went out conquering and to conquer. A lot of people have lately been saying this is Christianity. Christianity's on the decline. So he breaks that seal and releases this guy. He has a bow with no arrows. That's interesting. A bow with no arrows. And that's the only thing that happens in the first seal. Well, if he has a bow with no arrows, that means he's a fighter, but in a political sense. That's what that represents. Because if he had arrows, he'd be a warrior. Fighting, actual war. He would be a military leader, but he's not. This is a political guy. He's got weapons, but his weapons are different. And a crown was given to him, and he went out conquering and to conquer. Conquering what? Conquering governments. So this guy's going to be a very good political leader. Now, there's another guy coming that's going to be the warmonger. That's going to be probably end up being the Mahdi. But this guy here. So when you think about the political state of what's going on with this first seal, and what this guy here is, when we know that's the Antichrist, he can't be released until we're gone, because here we are in Revelation chapter 5, standing in the throne room. Revelation chapter 12:5 confirms that we'll be raptured up to the throne room. So here we are. And after Revelation chapter 3, the church isn't mentioned anymore specifically at all. Chapter 4 is all about the throne and everything going on in the throne room. Then chapter 5, we're there. Then chapter 6, the seals start. And when you read through these seals, it's like, oh, this is a lot of this stuff is already starting, but this is all going to happen after the rapture. Then chapter 7, 144,000, the great multitude no one could number, totally different group of people, not the rapture. Then the seventh seal opens and starts bringing the wrath. I believe there is a break of time where those seals are opened, then the tribulation starts. And this is where I'm getting it from. So, if that's the truth, and we have to be gone, because we can go back to, was it 2 Thessalonians 2? Let no one deceive you by any means, for that day will not come unless the falling away comes first, and the man of sin is revealed, the son of perdition. That's the Antichrist. Well, if the first seal releases him, and he's saying that day, which we can prove very easily, this is talking about, this mentions the end, when Christ comes at the end, but it also mentions the catching away, then we have to be gone before that time comes. If he's about to be revealed, that means we have to be gone. That means we have very little time left here. And it's just like, everybody's just like ticking down the days. When you start putting those pieces together, it's like, And now you know what is restraining, that he may be revealed in his own time. We are restraining the Antichrist. We are keeping the first seal from being broken. We're holding him back. For the mystery of lawlessness is already at work. Only he who now restrains, notice it's capital H, that's the Holy Spirit, will do so until he is taken out of the way. And then the lawless one will be revealed, whom the Lord will consume with the breath of his mouth and destroy with the brightness of his coming. And then the lawless one will be revealed. We must be raptured out of here first. That's what this says. You take this here, 2 Thessalonians 2, 1 through 8, and go to Revelation 6, when the first seal is broken. Now back up, Revelation 5, bam, there's the church. We have to be removed in order for him to do this. We're not appointed to wrath. We've already made the decision. We've come to faith. We're being taken out of here. It's a rescue. I did another video on that. So in order for that first seal to be broken, we got to be up there in heaven. Now you go to Revelation chapter 12. We all know the Revelation chapter 12 sign. We saw it in the sky. He says, now a great sign appeared in heaven, a woman clothed with the sun. We saw that. We're almost 3 years? About 2.5 years out. But chapter 5 shows the harpazo. She bore a male child who was to rule all nations with a rod of iron, and her child was caught up to God and his throne. The Greek word for the first instance of child in this verse means son, quote unquote. The second child is a different Greek word, meaning daughters and sons. And they were harpazoed. So, if that has to happen, first, we got to be gone in order for that to happen. I said all that because this should give you a sense of the urgency of the time that we're in. Let's see. Let me try one more news source. Jerusalem Post. Let's see what they got. So yeah, we have to be gone, guys. We have to be out of here. We can't be in the way. Yeah, Rabbi Yehuda Glick got arrested on the Temple Mount because he was walking too slow, of all things. Shabbat Shukran. Shukran Jazirin. There's a bunch of old news on that one. Let's do breaking Israel news. Just to see if anything interesting. Oh, that guy, yeah. They found him dead. Coronavirus in North Korea could be much more lethal than in China. Okay, experts say outbreak in North Korea could pose great risks to a malnourished people already suffering from poor health. Yeah, that's the truth. North Korea has not reported a single case of the coronavirus since the outbreak was first detected in neighboring China in late December. But health experts say infections may be going undetected in the impoverished country where an outbreak could be much more lethal. A lot of people think it came from there, which is highly possible. The virus known as COVID-19 has infected 75,000 people, and actually that number's gone up, and killed more than 2,000 globally. It has spread to 24 countries, including Pyongyang's southern neighbor, South Korea. I got a buddy and his family that are over there in South Korea. I need to contact him. Which was reported more than 100 cases. But the official Rodong Sinmun newspaper, citing the government on Thursday, insisted there were no confirmed cases so far in the nation of 25 million. The World Health Organization, who backed that statement on the same day, with a senior official telling reporters in Geneva there are no signals, no indications of coronavirus in North Korea. What makes you so different? Statewide media, meanwhile, showed images of workers clad in protective suits disinfecting public spaces and undertaking programs in which health workers educated the public on the dangers of the virus. And in a bid to limit the spread of the virus, Supreme Leader Kim Jong-un's government has effectively halted all flights and trains to China, imposing screening for anyone coming into the capital, and subjected all foreigners, including diplomats and aid workers, to a month-long quarantine. Why is he doing a month? We're only doing 14 days over here. Because he knows that it's longer than that. Twice the length imposed by many other countries. They also don't know how long you're a carrier, because even after you're cured, you're still a carrier. North Korea has also closed its 1,500-kilometer long land border with China, a country that accounts for about 90% of trade with Pyongyang. And the International Federation of Red Cross has sent 500 volunteers to the border areas to help with screening for infections. But despite these measures, one South Korean media outlet that covers North Korea says several people who exhibited similar symptoms, or symptoms similar to the coronavirus infection known as COVID-19, have died in recent days. Those reports could not be independently confirmed. One former diplomat who defected to South Korea in 2016 has also questioned the government's official figures, noting international agencies were unlikely to be able to verify data because of restrictions on their movement. Kim's government maintains a vice-like grip on people and information in the country. Meanwhile, more than 200 cases have been reported in the two Chinese provinces bordering North Korea. The relative frequency of Chinese visitors entering through this border, both legally and illegally, and Beijing's initial slow response to raise the alarm, which is why all this is happening, Emperor Xi knew about it 2 weeks prior, have compounded fears that the virus may have spread to North Korea. If every other country has it, they've got it. There is a thriving black market network up in the North Korean-Chinese border, said Nicholas David Thomas, an associate professor at City University of Hong Kong and a specialist in health security in Asia. And so all you need is one infected person to be smuggled in or smuggled out, and either state would immediately know. If the virus did gain a foothold in North Korea, you can bet if they find people infected, they're killing them. Analysts said it could spread swiftly as medical facilities outside the country's capital are ill-equipped. Such a development would endanger a population that is already suffering from poor health and malnutrition. If coronavirus got into North Korea, where there are a lot of other underlying deficiencies and lacking health care, the death rate would go up quite a bit. It would probably spread real easy, said Dr. John Linton, the director of the International Health Care Center at Yonsei University in South Korea. With their general population suffering from malnutrition, it would be much, much worse than China. About 11 million citizens, 43% of the population of North Korea, are undernourished, and food insecurity is widespread, according to United Nations. Many in the province are also plagued by shortages of clean water. In 2019, the North Korea ranked last out of 195 countries on its ability to rapidly respond to and mitigate the spread of an epidemic, according to the Global Health Security Index published by the U.S.-based Johns Hopkins University, while ranking 193 overall on its health security and capabilities. Basically, if it gets a foothold there, it'll decimate that country. All right. Craziness. So this is a big deal, guys, and there's no getting around what it is and what it's causing. And there was a story I had seen. Where was it at? Oh, sounds like somebody just got home. Okay, I'm going to end it there. That's headlines. Keep your eyes on the skies, you guys, because things are changing super fast. I love y'all, and I'll see you in the next one.